Measles is a vaccine that we thought of as eradicated in the U.S. as of just 15 years ago. That means that there were fewer than 100 cases per year. And unfortunately, because there are pockets of patients that are unvaccinated these days, measles can rear its ugly head again.
Back in the last big outbreak of measles in this country was 1990 or 91, I think. And 4,000 kids were infected, over 4,000 kids were infected, and something like 8 or 9 kids died. And then it dropped down to very low rates, under 200 people a year in this country diagnosed. And now already in this year we've had over 100 kids infected. And so it's definitely on the rise from people not protecting their children. There's a lot of different reasons why people don't want to immunize their children. It comes down to parents wanting to do the right thing for their kids and not understanding that by choosing not to do immunizations, they're actually doing a really bad decision for their kids. In our practice, I'll take the time to talk to people about immunizations and educate them and try to get on the same page. But if I have somebody that really doesn't want to do immunizations, we actually ask them to leave our practice.
I would say the more typical situation here in our practice with regard to vaccines is parents are curious. They have questions about whether the vaccines are effective, whether they're safe to use, what things they should expect, as they're making their decision about how to protect their child and their family and community.
So she's 5 months old. Her name is Eva Rose, and she is just the light of my life, just my work of art. Obviously, before I had a child, I strongly believed in vaccines, and I loved the little CDC chart, and I knew we had to have it in our offices. But having my baby just really brings it home of how important it is to have vaccines and just the whole public health infrastructure, how important that is. I mean, they say it takes a village to raise a child, but really I think it takes a village with an intact public health infrastructure to raise a child. So in order to keep my daughter safe, because she is under a year old and you cannot receive the measles vaccine until about 12 to 15 months, and then the second dose at 4 to 6 years, first of all, we have made sure she's gotten the vaccines that she can get up until this point. Second of all, if she were to go out more, I would ask the people that we were visiting if their children had been vaccinated.
So we put that on our blog/news section of our website to educate people. There's a lot of panic. There's a lot of people worrying, oh no, there's measles. I need to get immunized. I need to get an extra immunization. I need to get an immunization before anything, before it's recommended. And we put this out to say, okay, there are some cases, and we've made some subtle changes. As of the last count, we're at about 11 cases, I think, of measles. We're all watching. We want to see what happens, but there's no need for panic.
Yes, the anti-vaccine movement does concern me. Again, before it was just kind of things that I would read, and I knew it was going on, the debate, but it didn't really affect me personally. And now, obviously, it does. I mean, my child is at risk. But I try not to react with anger, because those parents, they just want the same thing that I do. They want what's best for their child. So that's where they're coming from, but they're acting out of fear, which is never a good place from which to make decisions.
It concerns us deeply because we think that people who are part of that movement are misled or misinformed, and the consequence is not just for them. Unfortunately, other people suffer from these sorts of misadventures.
There aren't really two sides to this story. I mean, the research was discredited. It was never even true. There is nothing backing that up, backing that claim. Unfortunately, autism oftentimes manifests, or the symptoms first get noted at around the same time that a child receives the first measles, mumps, rubella vaccine. So oftentimes, just because chronologically they're related, people associate the two.
I mean, the overall message is that vaccines are safe, And there's never been a study that says there's anything wrong with vaccines, and all they do is save lives. We have a population, in our practice, we have over 11,000 patients, and again, we're as close to 100% immunization as you can reasonably get with, there's people that have medical conditions that prevent them from getting immunizations, but we have an immunized population, and they're healthy, and we have not caused one case of anything negative by making sure everybody was immunized.